What's up, guys? How's it going, everybody? My name is Blitzwinger. Ladies and gentlemen, today is another showcase video for LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. I've taken a look at all 380 plus characters in this game just a couple of days ago, and today we're actually going to shift our attention to the vehicles that transport those characters across a galaxy far, far away. Now, of course, guys, if you do enjoy today's video, please don't forget to let me know by hitting the thumbs up button and use the comment section down below to let me know your favorite vehicle in the Star Wars galaxy and whether or not that overlaps with your favorite vehicle in LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga itself. Now, I want to go on ahead and kick things off with saying that there are actually 3 different classes of ships in this game. There are capital ships, which are ships that are actually accessible and you could walk into them. There's actually a set of kyber bricks that you usually collect and complete a bunch of other missions along with that. There are micro ships, which are basically the rewards that you get for collecting all the mini kits across 45 different levels in the video game itself. So these are your rewards for getting 100% completion on that. And then, of course, there are just the traditional starships. So what we'll do is we'll actually start with the starships, work our way to the capital ships, and then the micro ships last. So let's get rocking and let's get a-rolling. First and foremost, we have the AA-9 freighter here, looking pretty cool. Definitely one of the more ginormous ships in the game. Followed by the ARC 170 starfighter. This thing is fancy looking for sure. Then you have the atmospheric assault lander. This is from the, I'd probably say it's one of the most iconic vehicles from the sequels, honestly. I just always remembered the look of this thing, and it's definitely very memorable for sure. Here's the B-Wing Starfighter, which is very menacing looking. Here is the BTA NR2 Y-Wing. Say that quickly 5 times. Tell me if you succeed, because good googly moogly, some of these names are just yikes. Then we have the BT4A4 Y-Wing. Holy moly, bro. They couldn't just come up with a little bit more of a simplified name scheme for this? This is insane. Then you have the Bastoon Legacy. This thing looks like a tiny little mosquito out here. Then you have Boba Fett's Starship, formerly known, of course, as the Slave One. It has been since renamed to just simply be Boba Fett's Starship. I know it's somewhat of a controversial decision within the Star Wars fandom. I personally just think, like, I understand the logic of changing its name. I just think that you got to come up with a cooler name than just Boba Fett's Starship. I think that's kind of a lame name to replace the previous one with. Then we have the Corvette of the Galaxy. This is the CR-90 Corvette. This is the fanciest of fancy rides that you can grab. I will say this thing is super duper cool looking, and there is actually a giant version of this ship also available to scale on the planet of, oh my goodness, I think it's Ajan Kloss, I want to say, is where that base is located. So I think it's on that planet, which is pretty cool. Then we have Count Dooku's Solar Sailor. This is one of the lamest vehicles in the entire galaxy. Count Dooku literally looking like a boomer on this thing. Then you have Darth Maul's Skimitter, which is sick. This thing literally always looks to me like a giant saber. So how could you possibly go wrong with that? I mean, Darth Maul just oozes coolness, you know? Then we have Darth Vader's TIE Advanced 1 fighter, or X1, sorry, fighter. Here with the fancy naming schemes. Thanks, Vader. Here's the Droid TIE Fighter. This is surprisingly one of my favorite ships in this game. I didn't even know about it until playing this game, and this thing is just awesome. It's really, really mobile and moves around very, very well, and it just looks really cool. I like the very different look that it has compared to everything else that we've seen. Then you have the Escape Pod right here. That is followed by the Falcon Escape Pod, but these are just honestly lame. Like, sure, I guess it's fun to have them in the game, but they're just both kind of lame. Then you have the First Order TIE Fighter right here, which is looking very, very cool indeed. Followed by the Fortitude ship, which looks more like a transportation vehicle for other spaceships and such. As you can see, it has these 2 giant hangar bay doors on the front of it. Then you have the Gonk Power Cruiser. You guys know the drill. If you see anything Gonk related, Gonk in the comment section below. This thing is crazy looking. It's basically a Gonk made to look like a spaceship. And it honestly works. This thing is really, really cool. Then you have General Grievous's Soulless One. Again, you want to talk about cool names? Why couldn't it be something like this for Boba Fett? You know what I'm saying? Like, fine, you want to change its name, but like this, now that's a really cool name for a bounty hunter or a villainous character. Then we have the Ghost here, which is so bittersweet because on one hand, it's cool to actually have it in the game. I think that that's definitely neat. But on the negative side of things is, I guess, the fact that we don't have any Rebels in this game. So it would have been cool, obviously, if we get a Rebels pack to go along with the spaceship. Then you have the H-type Nubian yacht. This thing is super duper fancy looking. This is like the Jeffrey Bezos style vehicle within Star Wars. Then you have the HMP droid gunship. This thing is very, very popular in the community. I know a lot of people would choose this one as their favorite. Then you have the IG-2000. I don't know if this thing is in any way related to the other IG characters, like IG-11 and 88. Maybe when it gets all the way up to 2000, IG literally becomes a spaceship. It's a possibility. But as you can see in the description, it actually does say that IG-2000 is a modified aggressor assault fighter belonging to the bounty hunter IG-88. Next, we have the Imperial Lambda class shuttle. This thing looks absolutely tiny out here, but it is obviously not to scale here. It's just trying to showcase the entire build for you so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. Then you have the Imperial Sentinel landing transport here. That is then followed by the J-type Starskiff. This is a wonderful vehicle. You can really tell what it is from this angle. Perfect showcase. So let me actually press swap on this one because you can't actually see the vehicle, because it's just a big giant boomerang, basically. It's like a very flat looking design, as you saw there. So that's what that one looks like. Then we move along down to the next one, which will be Jango Fett's Starship, which is looking pretty cool. Again, could use a cooler name. Then you have the Jedi Interceptor here, which is a wonderful looking spaceship for sure. Followed by the Jedi Starfighter. Again, very, very cool looking design. I believe that's the one that Obi-Wan uses, right? Or is this Anakin's ship? I don't remember. Then you have Kylo Ren's command shuttle. This thing is absolutely ginormous. I mean, absolutely a massive spaceship. It looks, again, very miniaturized in the preview window, but as you can see right here, it is a giant ship, no doubt about it, with a really cool animation transformation as well. Then from there, we move along to the next ship on the docket here, which will be Kylo Ren's TIE Whisper design. Then you have the Libertine, which is a really cool design. I think this one is from Solo, I believe, I want to say. Then you have Luke Skywalker's T-65 X-Wing model, followed by the MG-100 Star Fortress. This thing is absolutely insane. And as you can see, it is able to drop 1,048 proton bombs onto its target. That's insane. So this is a very heavy-duty vehicle, and one that you deploy to go on ahead and destroy some Star Destroyers. Then you have the Maison Martinet, very fancy name for sure, followed by the Millennium Falcon, of course. Looking very cool. This is the design from Episode 4 through Episode 6, so this is the original Millennium Falcon look. Then you have Millennium Falcon here from Episode 9 available to you as well. That is then followed by the Episode 7 or the Force Awakens design, the one that we see Rey and Finn pilot, and also the Episode 8 look as well. Then you have the Mist Hunter right here, which is a very unique looking spaceship for sure. One of the more imaginative designs, no doubt about it. Then you have the Naboo Royal Starship. It seems like almost everything that is royal or royal adjacent within the Star Wars galaxy has to have this very like flat design and chrome plating. That's like their go-to thing. Then you have the Naboo Starfighter here, which looks a lot like Mandalorian's new ship, actually, which is neat. Then you have the Nan Tex class Starfighter here, which looks a little like Count Dooku's spaceship as well. Then you have the Night Buzzard here, one of my favorite ships. This is the Knights of Ren vehicle of choice. But again, everything about the Knights of Ren is really freaking cool, except for the story and how they were actually treated within the movie itself. But this is a really cool design. Then you have Poe Dameron's a black one here, which is an X-Wing model T-70. That's what it is. Then you have the quad jumper here, which is kind of a potato-looking design. I mean, literally looks like a potato with a couple of wings sticking out the sides of it. Then you have the RZ-1 A-Wing. I really like this design, actually. I think it looks really, really wonderful. That's a really cool-looking spaceship. Followed by the Republic Cruiser. This is another very, very cool-looking design for sure. Maybe it's just the mostly red color scheme that I enjoy, but it is definitely very cool. The Resistance A-Wing variant is next. So this is very familiar to that other A-Wing that we saw just a moment ago, but a little bit of a different color scheme and a bit of a different design on the engine boosters. Then you have the Resistance ITS Transport. This is one of the vehicles that is unlocked via cheat codes only in this game. So you can check out my video on the Secret Characters Showcase that actually covers this detail as well. Then you have the Resistance Transport here, which I believe first appeared either in, I think, episode 7, I'm pretty sure. This is when we, I think it's this vehicle that lands, and then out of it, of course, we see the emergence of General Leia Organa for the very first time. Then you have the Resistance Transport Pod, which is kind of mid-looking. The Separatist Vulture Droid, though, is not mid-looking at all. A very cool-looking design and droid. I don't even know if you could call it just a spaceship, because it's also, of course, a droid when it lands onto Earth, or any planet for that matter. Here's the T-70 X-Wing. So this is the identical same ship as the one that we saw for Poe Dameron, except he has like a custom paint job for it. Then you have the T-70 X-Wing from episode 9 right here. So just a bit of a recolor of, again, that same ship. Then you have the TIE Baron here, followed by the TIE Bomber. Then you have the chrome variant of the TIE Bomber as well, which actually looks really nice. It definitely has that premium sort of feel because of the chrome finish. Then you have the TIE Dagger, which you guys have fondly named on the different live streams that I've done as the Dorito TIE Fighter, which I hate. I hate that it does now resemble a Dorito to me, but I really like this design. I think it's a cool look for sure. Then you have the TIE Fighter. This is just the classic design, not the First Order variant. Here's the classic TIE Interceptor. Then you have the TIE/SF Space Superiority Fighter. Holy moly. How is this any different to the TIE Fighter or the First Order TIE Fighter? I don't know. Except for the little like red detail on the side there, I legitimately don't know what is different about it. Then you have Tali Lintra's RZ-2 A-Wing here. Again, very similar to the previous A-Wing designs, just a bit of a different color scheme. This one's blue instead of the green and red that we've seen before. Then you have the Razor Crest. This is yet another one of the spaceships that is only accessible via cheat codes. Then you have the Theta Class T-2C Shuttle. Holy moly, these names, bro. These names. And then you have the Trade Federation Shuttle, which looks kind of mid, not going to lie. This looks like a character out of, like, WALL-E. Then you have the Trade Federation Vulture Droid here, which, again, going back to the previous Vulture Droid design that we saw, it looks very cool. Here's the U-55 Orbital Load Lifter. This is obviously much more of a like ship. In fact, it actually says commonly known as the lifeboat. So I guess this is a ship that would be utilized to transport a lot of people from one place to another. And then we have the V-Wing Starfighter, which looks super duper cool. This is a very, very cool design indeed. Here's the Wookiee gunship here. Looking very cool. I don't know why I feel like this is something that you would see in like a Predator movie or something like that. Then you have the XI class light shuttle. Again, these shuttles, they seem very miniaturized in the preview windows. Assume basically almost always that the reason why those ships seem kind of small is because in reality, as you can see, they have a ginormous wingspan. And so they don't really fit into the preview window as they should. But with that spaceship out of the way, let's go on ahead and move along to one last ship on this showcase here, which is going to be the Light Freighter. So that pretty much rounds up the main ship options. And there were, of course, 69 of those ships in total. Now, keep in mind that number is actually 71 when you account for the 2 ships that I mentioned that were unlocked via cheat codes only. And then, of course, keep in mind that obviously there's like 1,000 different variants of the A-Wing, the X-Wing, the TIE Fighter. So technically, like if we didn't count each one of the recolors as a unique ship, it's actually a lower count than that. From there, let's move along to the micro ships. So these are, of course, rewarded to you as you go on ahead and complete the different levels in the game. As you 100% complete the levels, you earn these miniaturized designs. So here we have the Trade Federation battleship. Then you have the Naboo Royal Starship. This is, of course, the micro fighter design. Here's Darth Maul's Skimitar, followed by the Trade Federation landing craft. It's really interesting to see, here's the Naboo Starfighter, how much more details there are on the microfighters because of the fact that they are more kind of like shrunken down. All the details on these builds are a lot more pronounced, and so you kind of spot more obvious, like glaring things that are different. So it's really interesting to see how they scale up and how they differ in terms of microfighter versus non-microfighter variants. Here's Jango's starship, by the way. Here's the Jedi Starfighter, which looks very mid in microfighter form. Here's the Republic assault ship. Here's Count Dooku's Solar Sailor. This thing still looks mid. Then we have the Jedi Interceptor, microfighter version, of course. Here's the Vulture droid, which looks cool in microfighter form, just like it does in a regular full form. Here's the Arc 170 Starfighter. Then we have the V-Wing. Holy moly, that's a tongue twister. Here's the J-Type Starskiff, followed by the Tantive 4 Escape Pod, microfighter version, of course. The Millennium Falcon, of course. Here's the Imperial TIE Fighter, classic colors. Here's the Y-Wing. Then you have the Death Star, which is just so cool. I love how you can see even the little panel of the details on the back there. Then you have the GR-75 medium transport. You have the Imperial Star Destroyer, the Imperial TIE Bomber, Boba Fett's starship, the Rebel X-Wing, the Super Star Destroyer, which looks very flat. Then you have the Rebel Y-Wing, or sorry, A-Wing, apologies. Then you have the Imperial Lambda class shuttle. Again, a bit more of a showcase of the shuttle here. Here's the Imperial TIE Interceptor, which looks wonderful. Here's the Death Star 2. Any details on the back? Yep. Okay, so it's pretty identical to the previous design. Then you have the Finalizer. Here's the First Order TIE Fighter. Here's Ervana. I actually don't know what this is. Chewbacca used for their smuggling operations. Oh, interesting. Cool. I didn't know that. So this is, I think, the ship on which they actually land the Millennium Falcon, right? So they actually are able to store the Millennium Falcon on this thing usually, which means that technically this could have probably been a capital ship just because of how huge it is. Here's the Starkiller base, which legit looks like a Pac-Man character. Here's the Resistance X-Wing. Here's the Resistance A-Wing. Here's Libertine, the TIE Silencer, the Supremacy, looking very cool. And then Kylo Ren's shuttle here. Then we have the Resistance Y-Wing, the Bestoon Legacy ship, the TIE Dagger. Yes, I'm glad that they actually have this one as a microfighter as well. In fact, let's call it on in so you guys can kind of get an idea of how small these microfighters really are. As you can see, they are very, very, very tiny little vehicles when compared to the big giant ships that we've been taking a look at the start here. So I think that gives you a good idea of the actual sense of scale. And then, of course, the final two here on the microfighter list is actually Kylo Ren's TIE Whisper and the Tantive 4, or Tantive, maybe 4. Now, with those out of the way, that just leaves us with 5 more ships to take a look at, which are the capital ships. So these are the granddaddy of them all. These are the biggest of the biggest ships. So you have, of course, the Death Star 1, I suppose is the way to title it. As you can see, it has that really cool kind of light reflecting, almost looks like a disco ball when you just rotate it like this. Then you have the Death Star 2, which is kind of looking like it's missing a little bit of components, but Obviously, still a very, very cool looking design. Then you have the Executor here, which is a big, ginormous ship. Followed by yet another ginormous ship. Here's the Steadfast. And then, of course, last but certainly not least, you have the Trade Federation battleship. So with that all in mind, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That is the showcase of every single spaceship or flying vehicle that is available within the LEGO Star Wars Skywalker Saga video game. Let me know down in the comment section below which one is your favorite, whether it be, let's say, your favorite overall, or maybe just your favorite specifically for this game. Of course, keep in mind, once again, every one of these ships you can go on ahead and head into space with the exception of the capital ships. Those are ones that would only be accessible as ships that you can land on. So they are not ships that you can actually like pilot, but you can go on ahead and land onto the ships and explore them and unlock stuff. So here we have, of course, one of those ships, the microfighter TIE Dagger, here flying through space, ready for some space combat. They all have their own unique blaster effects, sound effects. They move at a certain different speed, obviously. Most of them have the exact same set of moves in terms of rotations, barrel rolls, that sort of thing. They mostly, as far as I remember, I think all of them have the option to utilize those particular techniques. So with all that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so very much for watching today's video. If you guys enjoyed, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will most certainly catch you guys on the next one in a galaxy far, far away. Peace out. See you later, alligators. Bye-bye, guys.